In a previous video, I talked about how you can use almost anything you want to learn Chinese. But the problem was that I also didn't go a lot into depth about how to actually find the resources in Chinese, other than just simply typing in zhōngwén and also the name of, let's say, the piece of work that you want, trying to find a Chinese name of it and then trying to look for it on YouTube, or let's say even find it on Steam. So in this video, I want to go more into depth on how to actually find content that you want in Chinese. Not only just content that you've previously watched before in English, but also stuff originally made in Chinese that you can also enjoy as well. And I'm just going to pretty much condense all the knowledge I have in order to find things in Chinese, find resources in Chinese, that hopefully this will be the last video you'll ever need in order to find resources in another language, especially in Chinese. So I'll see you in the computer. Okay, so welcome to the computer, and we're going to be learning how to find Chinese resources. And this is going to be a lot more unedited compared to the usual video because I want to do this with you and also just show you the processes of, well, finding media you want. And hopefully, again, I don't have to come back to trying to tell you how to find resources, and I just want to condense it all in this one video. So let's go over about how to find Chinese resources, and going over the easiest way to find resources and the one that I have recommended the most being simply hop on the bandwagon of others, and also resource docs recommendations, even non-language learning resource collections that you can find. The ones that I've recommended the most are going to be the Refold Mandarin Notion, and don't you worry, you don't have to like memorize this entire thing. Instead, you will be able to, let's say, find resources this way, and then you are going to be able to look for things. Let's say, for example, I want to look for dònghuà, and then, oh, I want to, find stuff. And if you want to sort it out also as well, is that you can actually click this button. It shows it right here. You can then sort between what you want. So let's say I want something modern, and then it's in mainland China, and then I would like look for something, oh, I actually want more slice of life stuff, not just, random stuff. So then, yeah, look, I'm able to find stuff that's slice of life, and also, well, stuff that I actually want to watch. Okay. And not only just the Refold Mandarin documents, but I also recommend another one known as Heavenly Pathway on Notion. This is also another one that I recommend, and you can also use it. Let's say, for example, I want to look for podcasts, and then it'll just show stuff like learn Taiwanese Mandarin, 面包吐司, and then Mommy Chinese, Mandarin Monkey, and you can pretty much go on this, and you can pretty much try the ones that you want. Finally, as well, is just non-language learning resource collections. It's just pretty much as simple as like top 10 most popular Chinese dramas. I already searched up for it for another video, and pretty much you could just, well, try out the ones that you want. Yeah, that's it. However, the problem with just this, especially just looking at non-language learning resource collections, is that if you want to actually get to things that you want to actually learn, it's not going to be as easy as just, well, trying to rely on other people all the time. Definitely, I'm not saying don't take others' recommendations. If that wasn't the case, then I wouldn't even just have any of this, well, in the video as well, because some of the things that actually were recommended to me were one of the best things I've watched in general. But then again, you still want to find the things that you want, which is the next thing, is also like, you also want to ask people as well, what do they think is good for you, or especially people that have very similar interests to you, like serious Chinese learners and also native speakers. And if you're in a Discord server like me, let me get my Discord up. Discord, and let it load. You may see it right here right now, but right now, for example, this server right here is actually a Chinese English language exchange server, and also here is pretty much learn Chinese by watching dramas. You can pretty much go to these servers, ask people what are their recommendations, and if you are lucky, you will be able to find it. But other than that, let's actually go to the next thing right away, which is, well, how to find, well, content on yourself. Now, first of all, I forgot to put one keyword in here, is actually search up comprehensible input in Chinese. So pretty much what you want to look for is, if especially you're a beginner, Chinese comprehensible input is that you can actually find stuff like, for example, Lazy Chinese's videos, and then you're going to be able to like learn this way. And this is also one that I've used a lot. Or especially this one, the comprehensible input wiki, looking for things like in Chinese. More collections than these. As you can see, there are a lot of, well, beginner channels that you can learn. And also, it just pretty much goes to show that, well, getting resources of other people, even though it isn't going to satisfy all of your wants and needs, is still going to be very, very easy and very, very convenient if you at least just give them a try. And also as well, the Refold Mandarin document, I've also forgot to mention this as well. They even have got beginner immersion content that you can go in as well. The stuff like, for example, TV show for kids, or podcasts, or TV shows, even with that. And even things like, for example, videos with subtitles. And then, yeah, that's just pretty much what it is. Okay, but now let's actually get to the point of finding stuff that we actually want and doing it ourselves, because sometimes the things we want aren't always available. So we are going to go use keywords like these. For example, pèiyīn, zhōngwén, zhōngwénbǎn, guóyǔ, pǔtōnghuà, in order to find versions of Chinese, especially translated things. And we could also find them in our language as well. So let's go first off on how to find, well, translated things, which are going to be, well, pèiyīn. I'm going to now search for something that I've never searched up before. So let me think of a movie that I've watched before. Something that I've never done. Let's say, I don't know, Ready Player One, for example, a movie that I've watched way back. And I want to, let's say, suddenly like, oh, I want to try watching the dub of Ready Player One in Chinese. So let's go and find Ready Player One dubbed. So using keywords like, for example, pèiyīn, which means dub, we would then go look for, let's say, the Chinese name of Ready Player One. So Ready Player One. And then you'd put in the keyword back here, zhōngwén, which would be Chinese. Zhōngwén. And then it would be like, oh, 一级玩家. And then I take this, copy and paste it, and then I'd pretty much go look for pèiyīn, or actually better, 中文pèiyīn, or sometimes shortened to zhōngpèi. So I would put zhōngpèi, and then I would try to, let's say, look for it here. And let's say maybe I could find it on IQI, but it's just, okay, let's go find it. Is it gonna work? Okay, here it is. So another also way as well, in order to know that, okay, let's say this movie is also in Chinese, or actually dubbed in Chinese, is actually try to look, for example, if you can find things like if it's in, well, subtitles or actually dubbed. If we actually go back to this, it actually says 带字母 带字母, which means to, well, bring subtitles with it, which also means, well, you're kind of out of luck, because 字母 means subtitles in Chinese. And also, if you find the word zhōngzì, it probably is a good chance that it's not dubbed in Chinese and it's only in, well, it's only in English, but you actually haven't found it. So we didn't find that here. However, we could also try maybe looking a little bit more. So let's say 一级玩家, and let's see, 全部菜单一休. No, we cannot find any like pèiyīn here. And even if I were to search it up, if I put pèiyīn, there's one right here, but it's just freaking Clash Royale players, freaking 7th level Rog Hider. No, that's not what we want. So we didn't find it, but it's okay. We have to find usually other things. So let's go try another one that we were more familiar with. Let's say Deltarune. So Deltarune, pretty much you would first find the Chinese name of it, and then you would find 中文. And usually people would call it 三角符文. So then I'll put 三角符文, and then usually I would put, and it just popped up right here, 汉化. Hànhuà is more common for video games, which it just means to turn into Chinese. And if we look down here, we actually have a guide on the Steam community itself pretty much a full guide in order to how to install, well, Deltarune chapters 1 to 4 in, well, Chinese. And pretty much if you find something like this, you are going to be very, very lucky. I'll also link this in the description if you guys are interested in it. But there also comes another problem as well, which is simply you're going to be going over to, let's say, all these websites trying to find things in, well, Chinese, correct? Well, there's a little bit of a problem, which is simply put it, you can't understand it. You cannot read it yet. Some people will already be at the stage where they are going to be able to at least read the UI and be able to, let's say, sort of decipher what it means, but not everyone will be able to do that. No offense, because this is exactly how we get better. So here's how we do it. First of all, you want to go to these three dots if you're on Google Chrome, or you actually may want to download the Google Translator extension. And what you want to do is actually click this little button. It will say translate in Chinese. And pretty much what you want to do is just put it to English. And let's see here. Deltarune chapters 1 and 4, Chinese localization installation guide. And yep, here it is. It's here. And pretty much your goal with this Google Translate is not to learn Chinese this way, but rather it's just to help you navigate Chinese websites at an early level so that you're going to be able to, well, not pretty much be scratching over your head and just trying to figure out what the meaning of, let's say, for example, what the meaning of freaking 1B means. It's like, oh, does this mean something? It's like, oh, wait, it just means complete. Oh, it's just gonna clear up a lot more confusion that you may find. Now, another thing you also want to look for if you want to find things on Chinese is also look for the term shàngxiàn, which is pretty much just going to help you, well, find things online and not have to buy them in real life. So let's say, for example, I don't know. Let's say I wanted to read, let's say, a comic. Let's say I wanted to read, I don't know, Spider-Man or something. So I'd pretty much just go to the same thing and just go type in his freaking name, Chinese. So 蜘蛛侠, I actually know it already, but I just wanted to demonstrate to you. So 蜘蛛侠, and then pretty much I'll look for 上线. And let's say I want to actually read the comics. And this is where the other one comes in, which is 漫画. So I'd put 漫画 in 漫画上线. And then pretty much you're going to be able to find things like, for example, Spider-Man comics in, well, Chinese, and then also on Bilibili. And then you're going to be able to find it that way. And pretty much what I've pretty much covered here, and just things like, for example, 漫画, 动画, 电视剧, 新闻, it's just pretty much things that you can input as keywords in order to find things a lot more easier. And they're just going to be a lot more things. I even forgot to add some of them, like, for example, yǒuxì, which means game, and also something like, I don't know, 影片 or 视频 for video. And it just makes finding lots of things in Chinese a lot easier. And just pretty much in a nutshell, we're just learning how to search things in Chinese. Yes, search things in Chinese before we actually learn how to listen to it. But okay, now the final thing that I've also mentioned earlier is beware of this word being 中字. So if I actually looked it up in my Yomitan, it means 中文字幕, which means Chinese subtitles. 中字. So the reason why I said to look out for this is because there are going to be a good amount of things that either have 字幕 or 中字, as in, well, subtitle content. And let's say, for example, I want to watch something in Chinese. Again, let's say the Ready Player One. So 一级玩家 one. 一级 oh my god. So 一级玩家 and let's say Ready Player One, correct? So let's say here, and let's say I want to, let's say, look for something online. I want to, listen to it. However, if I find again here, it says 带字幕, it's not going to let us, well, watch it, and it's just going to be a lot harder to do so. And also if I try to, let's say, look for 上线看, and I want to watch it online, and yeah, there's nothing for zhōngpèi, or let's say even if I want to watch on Netflix. I actually don't have Netflix here, but pretty much even if you want to watch on Netflix, and I'm trying to see if they even have a way to figure out if they have Chinese. Look, there's only English. You can't do anything. Yeah, bummer. So yeah, that's just something you need to look out for. Okay, so now that I've taught you how to do basic searches in Chinese, let's actually go and talk about create a YouTube account and channel, put the language and region Chinese, and all these things in order to get into Chinese, not Chinese platforms, that's a little bit later, but pretty much get onto things like YouTube and be able to have them funnel content on you. So for example, if we look at my YouTube channel that's in Chinese, you see, a lot of the things are in Chinese. Almost everything that you see is Chinese. Chinese, Chinese, Chinese. Okay, maybe not this one because it's just, well, Andrew Huberman, but, well, Chinese subtitles. But you see here, there's a lot of stuff in Chinese. And pretty much what we want is just to pretty much fill up your interests in Chinese so that you can pretty much just watch whatever one that you want. And you don't have to, well, you can pretty much let YouTube do the work for you for finding content you want. And you don't have to like constantly look up for it and just like, try to find, oh, where do I find this? Where do I find that stuff. Now, pretty much you have to create a YouTube channel for that. So here's how you do it. So what you want to do is you want to click your icon right here and it will be like, switch channel. And you're going to have like these things. So what you want to do is check all channels. And then what you want to do is create a channel. And then you pretty much will type in something like, I don't know, Viral learns Chinese. And then you pretty much type something like, okay, there. And then you can create it. I'm not going to create it for the sake of it. However, I did want to pretty much just show you in order to do that. So that once you've already created it, you will come up with, let's say, a page right here. That'll just probably be filled with random pieces of, well, homework. So how do we actually go and, well, get videos that are in Chinese like this? Well, simply put it, you can do the same thing with, let's say, what I just mentioned right here, and you can find content in Chinese, and you actually can search things up, like, for example, let's say I want to, learn about fitness in Chinese, so I'll put 健身, so I'll just go put 健身 right here, and then see if it gives me anything. Okay, let's say I like this guy, Shuai So Serious. 健身有时候 And then, yeah, I want to watch it that way. And it's only not just that way, because not all the things you'll just type in as in right there is going to give you something good. You could also yeah, go back to let's say the refill docs, and also as well, let's say looking for content, look for YouTube and Bilibili, sort it out, look for YouTube, and then try to find people that you might like here and, well, want to watch. Make sure to also subscribe to channels right here, because simply put it, if you don't subscribe to the channels, I've actually found it's 10 times harder for it to like actually push out the content that you want in Chinese and actually have it recommended to you. So once you actually have done this, now pretty much your only job is to, well, immerse more and just keep immersing more. That's all. However, there are just a couple questions I want to mention. Let's say, for example, I find an English video, or actually watch English videos. So I don't know what English YouTubers are popular nowadays. Well, let's say, for example, let's say I accidentally click this one. 在日常生活当 So let's say, okay, it's in English. I accidentally watched it, and I'm not supposed to watch English in this channel. So what I would do is go to my, well, homepage, pretty much check all of it, and pretty much what I want to do is, well, get this and actually delete it from my search history. And then this way, it's just going to, well, keep tricking the algorithm to, well, recommending the things that you actually want in Chinese. Or let's say this is a video that's in English. I click here and put, I am not interested. Click, I am not interested, or do not recommend this channel to me. And then that way, you're not going to be able to see that channel. Okay, so also another warning as well with just YouTube as well is that this is also a process that can take some time, and you're not going to be able to find all the YouTube channels that you want immediately, and you may be more heavily reliant on the resource docs that we just went over, or maybe recommendations that people have given you, and you slowly have to sort of find the things that you actually like. Because I'm going to be completely honest with you. Let's say, for example, let's say the channels over here are actually ones that I've just found on my own. I've never actually looked at a resource doc. These are actually ones I found on my own. Okay, so now the other thing as well with the YouTube channels, that you also want to put the language and region in Chinese, because as well as, finding things in English no, finding things in Chinese and putting them here. You also want to get your channel and put it in, well, Chinese or Chinese language and also Chinese, well, region. So the first thing is, well, 战士语言, which is going to be, well, display language. You want to set it in, well, simply going down all the way here, Chinese. Either 繁体字 or 简体字. Put it on that. And then also another thing as well, set your location to Taiwan if you're going to be using YouTube. If we're going to be using something like Bilibili, it's something different because that is, well, exclusively in Chinese. But for here, set it to Taiwan. And the reason why mine is actually in, well, America is because, well, I have a YouTube channel and I have to keep it in America. So, well, I can't do anything about it. So, but even then, you will still find a lot of things recommended to me in Chinese. It's not going to be something that it's not going to like pop up, or it's just going to like destroy your algorithm if you don't do it. So once you've actually done that with YouTube or create a YouTube channel, you can also do the same thing around with Netflix. This is something I am not 100% sure to do on Netflix, but there should be in a setting in some way in order to find it. Also in Netflix as well, I could show you right here. They do actually have a way in order to search by language. So if you click this one, you could actually, well, sort things by language. So let's say this is original language, this is pèiyīn, which is, well, dub, and then this is going to be subtitle, which is going to be, well, this is going to be something that you want to avoid. So what you want to do is, well, find the original language or dub. I would just say original language first, go to 英语, and then after that, look for Chinese here. It will be more apparent, let's say Chinese or Mandarin, but in this context, it actually is called 华语. So 华语, and then after that, you're going to be able to find, well, stuff that you want to watch in Chinese. That's originally in Chinese. And this way you could also find stuff as well. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way in order to do stuff in, well, YouTube or Chinese, now I also want to recommend to you as well as, well, we're going to look for platforms in Chinese that are actually, well, in either both mainland China and also Taiwan as well. So the first one that we've also looked at a lot is actually called Bilibili, which is this one. And it's pretty much like a YouTube for China. And, well, simply put it, yeah, it's all in Chinese. And I just pretty much recommend is that you just need to watch the things that you like, get the algorithm to what you want it to recommend to you, and that's just pretty much all with it that. However, though, there's also another one I want to recommend called Tencent Video, which is also another one in China. And, well, it's called TVQQ, and just pretty much it'll just show you things in, well, China that's popular, a lot of things in Chinese. However, just keep in mind as well with all these things is that they also do have advertisements as well, and they also do have, well, a subscription that you want. So that's also another thing that you should note about. You can also in many ways also find a lot of things that would usually be dubbed, like for example, Mr. Bean in Chinese right here. I didn't know that existed as well, but we're just learning new things. And now we're going to go over to another one, which is actually more of a podcast service called Miss Evans right here. Like, say, 猫儿来自二眼的. This is pretty much what I found very good ways in order to find stuff like, you know, audiobooks for certain, well, light novels, and also what they call it, radio dramas, things that are a lot more audio based. You could also find using the words, if you like audiobooks, being yǒushēngshū as well, and then you could find things here. You could also then find novels as well if you want to read them, being xiǎoshuō. And then, well, you can find websites here that might give you some free novels to read, hopefully. Speaking of novels as well, there's also going to be one in Taiwan called Bokalai that I recommend. This is pretty much, well, you could find stuff like Chinese books in order to read. Some of these are also sometimes like non-books. You don't have to worry about that. And then what you want to pretty much find, as I will demonstrate right here, is like, of course, turn on your translator thingy. And then, of course, you will then find stuff like, oh, ebooks, audiobooks. And then you want to be clicking this and try to find, well, ebooks and audiobooks in Chinese again. and then pretty much you'd be looking around there, and they have a lot of categories. There's also, well, if I can find right here, yeah, they also have categories right here as well, being, let's say, literature novels, or let's say, you know, let's say 华文创作, which is, well, 创作, which is like made like Chinese language ones, or if we're going to go back here, we can probably click 繁文文学, which is like translated works, these things. Finally, as well, there's another one called Bahamute, which is actually more for anime. In, well, animations in Taiwan, if you want to look for them. If I can pull it up right here, you actually will need a VPN as well to access this in Taiwan, so you will not be able to watch it. And as you can see here, it will just tell me, sorry, but we're not able to, let's say, stream this for you because of your location. And those are the platforms that I use personally. And in order to find platforms yourselves that will be reliable, in order to find things, not just YouTube, not just, Netflix, not just the most common things, is that you actually will have to do a little bit of digging with yourself with just search stuff that I have told you about as well. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is about with looking for platforms as well in these things. They're also going to be, well, asking people and look at the platforms above to see what is trending. Like, for example, with Bilibili. It's not just also with, trying to find, let's say, videos, but you can actually also find stuff like comics. For example, this manhuà section. There are comics. Yes, comics in Chinese. Go watch them. Go read them. Let's say, I just want to, let's say, get some demons there. But let's say, let's say here. It actually says you actually have to go to the right. So, let's see. And then, yeah, you can, well, read it. And then not only just that as well, you can also find stuff like, oh, there's also ones in China that I can read. Not only just in Bilibili, but you could also find, this is Bilibili manhua, but Bilibili in terms of, let's say, finding things to watch. Let's say, for example, guōchuāng, which is just another way of saying, well, finding, this is just pretty much originally made in China, well, animations, or dònghuà, which you don't always have to always find with just resource docs, although that is the best way, my opinion. And not only just with Bilibili and just looking more in depth with just the current ones right here, but also as well, when you are going to be looking for things again, when using these keywords, you will find certain websites that you really like, and then you pretty much, what you want to do is simply just, well, pin them. Let me see if I can just find a random. Let's say, going back to Bahamute, you can pretty much pin it right here, and then, well, find it this way. That's just one thing that I have to mention as well. So that's pretty much how to find resources in Mandarin. It's a pretty simple video. And one thing I want to also mention before we also get off the video is, some of the things, just like I mentioned, will be much better with a VPN, because certain things that I actually have watched with in Chinese, actually for some reason just don't function at all if I don't use a VPN. So what VPN do I use? It's, well, simply just Surfshark. It's like freaking Surfshark VPN. This is just the one I use. It's just good old reliable. There's other stuff like NordVPN, but just keep in mind what VPNs you want to find are ones that either will help you go into mainland China. So let's say another one that I know of. No, I don't actually know any other VPNs besides Surfshark, but pretty much things like Surfshark VPN, is you're just going to pretty much find it as well. You pretty much want to find you pretty much just want to find Taiwanese and mainland Chinese, well, servers in terms of finding VPNs. Okay, so before we actually end off the video, there is something I actually forgot while in editing this video, which is actually using ChatGPT. Yes, you can use ChatGPT. I'm not sure if another AI program has this feature, but you can actually ask for it to recommend new things in Chinese. So when I typed this in and tested out, being like, recommend me 10 Taiwanese gaming YouTubers, it actually showed me some actual YouTubers in Chinese. And look, there's one here, Dijun. And also people like, for example, zhōngwénbǎn. let load. Like him, for example, he makes a little bit more varied content. But just to put this in, well, summary, it's just pretty much gonna help you find more things that are a lot better. Although, if you try to sometimes narrow down a little bit too much, I say recommend me 10 Taiwanese gaming YouTubers that play Nintendo games, for example. It will it just of course tell you like, oh, it's a bit tricky to find, and it does have some stuff here. Like I could try looking, let's say for example, this person up. Let's see. Is it him or her? Is it he or she? But he's pretty much, well, a YouTuber. I'm not sure. He has Roblox stuff and also just other things as well. But yes, there's going to be a time where it's like, it's very good at recommending general things, but not very good at just very like specific things that you want. Exactly. So that's something that I just want to let you know, because this can actually be a very helpful thing aside from just the resource docs, and also things like, you know, just searching things up online that you can actually, well, find on YouTube. So that's all we have to say. And well, yes, that's how you do a Google search in Chinese in order to find resources. And it sounds really trivial, it really does. But the reason why I wanted to cover this is because in reality, this is actually not a thought that came up to me when I was still learning Chinese and just being a lot more young and not knowing like how to navigate the internet and such. Not exactly not knowing how to navigate the internet, but this is like such a trivial idea. It seems like it, but this is actually something that did not come up in my mind. And if I was given this advice, it's like, oh, you could use stuff like, you know, I know, search things up in Chinese in order to find you want in Chinese. Then I would have actually been able to get into the things I really liked a lot better. And also technology like this, for example, ChatGPT. When I was starting to learn Chinese in around 2023, ChatGPT was not this advanced yet, and it did not give me like actual recommendations for YouTubers, but now it actually does. So yes, that's all. So that's all we have to say, and we have a lot to explore. And also as well, if you are interested in joining, I do have a program in the description where we pretty much talk about learning Chinese, communicating in Chinese, pretty much same topics like these videos. And if you're interested, well, buy it. And it's also on a pre-sale right now, so get it while you can. Okay, so that's all I have to say for real.